All right. Good morning, everybody. It's 6:41 a.m. Pacific time, Thursday, August 22nd. I was off for a few days, so it's good to be back and live streaming again. We're going to talk about dangers at the beach for your pets. This is probably only a dog thing, but I'm sure there are some cats out there that partake the beach with their pet owner, but this is really a dog thing. So in general, there's really two things we worry about at the beach, although there could be way more. Um, Number one is the ingestion of salt water. So salt water has a very high salt content, and um, the ocean water. And so, if you are familiar with inducing vomiting in like children, for example, they'll try to make a child throw up who's eaten something they shouldn't have eaten by making them drink water with a high concentration of salt in it. It causes irritation of the stomach and makes them throw up. That's what it does in dogs as well. The other problem, of course, is going to be electrolyte abnormalities with all that sodium, chloride. Your electrolytes, you're at risk of an imbalance there, and that can make the pets sick as well. So ingesting salt water, seawater, ocean water is ideally prevented from the beach. It's hard to do that because dogs are swimming and going crazy and playing and stuff, and they're going to ingest the water. They don't know any better, I guess. And um, you know, if your dog likes swimming, then that's a risk you have to take. What's interesting is I don't see, at least in practice, that many dogs having the same issue when they're swimming in chlorinated pools, because the chlorine, of course, is a chemical as well that can cause issues, but we don't really see it that much. Maybe it just is not as severe of an issue as swallowing ocean water is, but that's the first concern that you can have with your dog swimming at the beach. The second concern is sand ingestion. That's a bad one. And what ingestion does is it causes severe inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract. Eventually, it's going to dehydrate the intestinal tract because what it's doing is it's absorbing all the fluid from the periphery, from the vasculature, into the sand like a sponge, and so it causes severe dehydration or hypovolemia, and it'll slow down the gastrointestinal tract, and it'll just get firmer and firmer as as the fluid in the body decreases, and then finally it's going to cause a blockage. Sand is terrible because I've operated on these dogs, and surgery is not great for them. Really, they need intense medical management, and fingers crossed they'll get through it. Sand impaction, unlike beach water ingestion, is almost always an emergency. However, most folks who are in trouble with this live remotely, and so vet triage is going to be your main way of trying to find emergency hospital options. Or if that's not an option for you because you're too remote, then we can help with care at home until you can access a veterinarian in person. But those are the two big concerns when it comes to beach exposure for dogs. There are, of course, other things. There's a bunch of stuff out there they can ingest, whether it be natural objects like shells or man-made stuff like litter. They can get into stuff like that, trash cans, whatever. And of course, because they're roughhousing, they're playing, they can hurt themselves. They can trip and fall, bite each other. They get attacked by animals. These are all possibilities as well. So all those things, that triage is the first good step. But those are the two things that are unique to the beach that I worry about is ocean water ingestion and sand impaction. Now, that's not to say that your dog should not go to the beach. If your dog really loves the beach, it's a great place to get exercise. Of course, we as human beings love the beach. And so it's, like any other activity with your dog, you ought to be aware of the pros and cons of it, what the risks are and benefits of it. But, it's great exercise. And a lot of dogs that are used to going to the beach, they tend to get in that much trouble. But once in a while, for some reason, they're interested in eating sand or drinking the water. And there you go. You get in trouble. As far as what pet owners can do, there's not really much. If your dog is going to go to the beach, you're risking it. Now you can keep your dog on a leash and prevent the swimming. And if they're on a leash, and you can watch them, make sure they're not ingesting things. But it's really a matter of just hopefully, fingers crossed, you go to the beach and you don't run into this issue, because it's hard to control your dogs if they're going to be active otherwise at the beach. So, yeah, and that's what I have for you today. I purposely not talking about sun exposure. We don't see that too often in dogs, and I do have a video on this channel about using sunscreens and other protective agents for dogs to prevent sun damage, and cats even more so need this. But we don't really see that in terms of like a sudden, like an acute issue in dogs the way we do if they ingested too much ocean water or ingested too much sand. Sun damage, just like in people, is a slow process that takes time. And sorry for the yawning, I'm very tired. It's a slow process. It takes time to develop issues. You could have that initial sunburn, but then the long-term sun effects of sun damage, like, for example, skin cancer, that happens later. So it's not as an immediate threat or concern, rather, in this context. Anyway, I hope that helps. Thanks to everybody who watches in the playback. Please subscribe, hit like, donate, support the channel. And I will be back on again tomorrow, Friday, August 23rd, for another live stream. We'll talk to you then. Take care, everybody. Bye.